This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck. So as you know, Thursday means it's Fishbowl Thursday here in Instant Deck land, and we have one of the craziest Fishbowl Thursday decks that we've had in a while. So you know we played a Desecrated Tomb deck yesterday for Against Odds, and it was super sweet. This is a very different take on a Desecrated Tomb deck, although it's not just a Desecrated Tomb deck, but Desecrated Tomb is one of the pieces or finishers of the deck. So this deck is so crazy that Pedro F., who thank you to Pedro F. for sending it in, actually sent me a chart explaining how the deck actually works, and you'll see that later. But anyway, a super quick reminder, if you'd like your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave a link in the comments, or you can email me, saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com, and let's talk Dredgemagorian for Modern. And oh my god, this deck is ridiculous. So this deck is kind of like this weird hybrid infinite combo 4 horseman reanimator dredge thing, but it all starts off with Faithless Looting and Cathartic Reunion to get cards into the graveyard. That is the main goal. Actually, the primary goal of our deck is to literally mill our entire deck. To combo off, we got to get our entire library into our graveyard. Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion, get that started, along with more discard outlets and Lightning Axe and Collective Brutality, just kind of backups and removal spells, also discard outlets. So we're trying to discard dredge cards. And the idea of this deck is we're not just going to dredge a little bit, but we are going to dredge repeatedly over and over and over and over again until we eventually dredge our entire library. So Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug, just dredge a lot of cards, and Golgari Brown Scale, not a super huge dredger, only dredges 2, but the gaining 2 life when it returns from our graveyard to our hand, which is when we dredge it, that's going to come back into play in a minute when we talk about the actual combo of the deck. So get dredge cards in our graveyard, start dredging. We also have some backup dredgers in Dark Blast and Dakmor Salvage, which give us some extra utility. Dakmor Salvage can be a land if we need it to, also a dredge card. Dark Blast can kill little creatures, Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarchs, whatever, Champion of the Parish, while also giving us a dredge card. Then we have our reanimation package. So when you see Grizzlebrand and Goryo's Vengeance, your first thought is, alright, they're probably like trying to reanimate Grizzlebrand. Maybe they have some Nourishing Shoals. They're going to attack, draw a bunch of cards, combo off, win the game. In our deck, though, we're actually not trying to combo off and win the game by attacking with Grizzlebrand. Our plan with Grizzlebrand is to use it as a card draw engine. We're actually not planning on attacking with Grizzlebrand. Actually, according to Pedro, the ideal time to combo off with this deck is on our end step, when we can't even attack with Grizzlebrand. But still, as we are dredging, discarding cards, we need to get a Grizzlebrand in our graveyard and then reanimate it with Goryo's Vengeance, and that brings us to kind of our combo pieces. So 2 other cards to keep in mind as we are talking about this combo loop: Phantasmagorian, Blightsteel Colossus. These are essential combo pieces. Phantasmagorian, really weird card, 7 mana 6/6, but we never actually plan on casting it. Instead, it's a card that lets us discard 3 cards to return it from our graveyard to our hand, which means with 2 Phantasmagorians, we can kind of loop them in this really weird combo where we're discarding a Phantasmagorian and 2 cards to get back a Phantasmagorian, and then discarding the Phantasmagorian 2 more cards to get back Phantasmagorian. Blightsteel Colossus, we're not ever planning on having it on the battlefield. What we're using it for is the shuffle it back into our library ability. That is another important piece of our combo: shuffle in, shuffle in, shuffle in, shuffle in. So when we combine these cards with Golgari Brownscale and Grizzlebrand, this is where the deck gets really crazy. So the setup for this, and I'm going to pull up this chart that Pedro made in just a second, but the setup for this is we get a Grizzlebrand on the battlefield. We hopefully have both Phantasmagorian in our hand and in our graveyard, although we can kind of work around it, but we really do need one in our graveyard. And then we have Blightsteel Colossuses, we have our dredge stuff. So using Grizzlebrand, we are going to dredge our entire graveyard, essentially. We draw 7, dredge, 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 dredge. We're not going to mill ourselves out because of the Blightsteel Colossuses, so we're going to shuffle those back in as they get dredged. So once we get down to just 2 cards in our library, that's where the deck gets super crazy. So the idea of this deck, and the setup is basically, we have a Phantasmagorian in hand, we have the entire rest of our deck in our graveyard thanks to all the dredging, except for the 2 Blightsteel Colossuses, which are going to keep shuffling back in. So we have 2 Blightsteel Colossuses left in our library, only cards in our library. And then the idea is we will activate Griselbrand. So we will activate Griselbrand to draw 7 cards. For the first 5 draws, we're going to dredge. But that dredging isn't going to do a whole lot because all we have left in our library is those 2 Blightsteels. So we're going to just get cards back from our hand. We're going to get back all 4 Golgari Brown Scales, and then also Dakmor Selvage. And then for our final 2 draws, we're naturally just going to draw our 2 Blightsteel Colossuses, which leaves us with an empty library. We have Dakmor Selvage, Golgari Brown Scale, Phantasmagorian, 2 Blightsteels in hand. The other important thing to note about this dredging is as we get back those 4 Golgari Brown Scales, we are going to actually gain 8 life. So we pay 7 for Griselbrand, but we gain 2 from each Golgari Brown Scale that we dredge. So we actually net 1 life in that process, so we can keep activating Griselbrand over and over and over again if we can keep getting our brown scales in the graveyard. And this is where the Phantasmagorians come in. So Phantasmagorian lets us activate. We discard Phantasmagorian from our hand, 2 Blightsteels. They shuffle back in. Then we discard to the Phantasmagorian now in our graveyard, discarding 2 brown scales and also Phantasmagorian. Then we do it a 3rd time, discard, and then we can do it 1 more time, discarding the rest of our hand, leaving us with just a Phantasmagorian in hand. And then we repeat the process. We draw with Griselbrand, dredge, get back our brown scales, we draw the 2 Blightsteel Colossuses, last 2 cards in our graveyard, go through the loop again, discarding brown scales. So every time we go through this loop, we are gaining 1 life, because we gain 8 and lose 7, or pay 7 to Griselbrand, and after going through this loop, we're going to get back to the same state. We go through this loop as many times as we want to, gain an infinite amount of life, and that's when we finally finish the game. So when it comes to finishing the game, we have a couple of different options. Lightning Storm, Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. So step 1 to winning the game is we can eventually dredge over our Emrakul to shuffle everything back in. Remember, we have infinite life, so our entire library is going to shuffle back in, draw a bunch more times with our Griselbrand to get all of our lands in hand, and then just Lightning Storm our opponent to kill them with a ton of damage to the face. The other way we can do it is using our Desecrated Tomb. So we have 1 Desecrated Tomb. If we happen to mill it, we can Noxious Revival it back on our library, draw it with Griselbrand. So as we are going through this dredge loop of getting our stuff back an infinite amount of times, every time we are dredging something, we're not only gaining life with the Golgari Brown Scales, but we're making a 1/1 bat token. So in the end, we gain infinite life, we either draw our entire deck and Lightning Storm our opponent to death, or we just get down our Desecrated Tomb, make an infinite number of tokens, untap, attack our opponent. So one of the things Pedro pointed out that's interesting is in paper, you don't really need to use Desecrated Tomb because you could just demonstrate the loop and say, all right, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to gain infinite life. Then I'm going to be able to Lightning Storm you or whatever. In Magic Online, though, you can't demonstrate that loop. So it would be very hard to combo off Lightning Storm style, gain enough life to draw your entire deck, to draw the lands. You would probably time out trying to do it. Desecrated Tomb is in the deck is a way to speed up the process on Magic Online. You just get it back, make a bunch of tokens. Hopefully your opponent doesn't have a Wrath. If they do have a Wrath, you could just do it again the next turn because you can kind of sculpt your hand to make sure you have your combo set up again for the next go around. So infinite bats or infinite damage to the face. Mana base, we talked about Dakmor Selvage, our dredge land. Gaia Reach Sanitarium for more card draw, a bunch of fetch lands, some shock lands, some basic lands. In the sideboard, Pact of Negation lets us protect our combo. We're not going to be able to pay for it, but that's fine. We're planning on winning when we combo off. Nature's Claim to deal with Graveyard Hate. Same with Ancient Grudge. Our deck really can't win through Graveyard Hate very easily. We're left trying to like make land drops and hardcast Griselbrand or something. Not a practical way of winning the game. Being able to blow up Rest in Peace, Leyline of the Void, that kind of stuff, very important. Damping Sphere helps against combo. Leyline gives us Graveyard Hate that doesn't hit our graveyard. Bantu's Last Reckoning to sweep away creatures. And that is the insanity. Infinite combo, Desecrated Tomb. What is going on with this deck of Dredgemagorian from Pedro F? And that's our Fishbowl Thursday instant deck for this week. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Oh yeah, if you want your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave a link in the comments or email me, saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.